Hi, good morning, everybody. I know this is quite a bit of an anticipated broadcast because all of you who have joined Sports Today and have been joining over the last few days and weeks since my last update on Rohit, which was about what 2 weeks back, uh, and that created quite a flutter. We gave away the news as to why Rohit did not travel. We gave away the news that Rohit desperately wanted to go, and that's why he was doing rehab. We gave you the news as to what the real status was, what the BCCI was doing. We gave you the news what the team management was doing. Since then, quite a bit has flowed under the water. So it was very important to give you the latest on Rohit. And yesterday, also after India won the series, a lot of the questions on Sports Today and to me personally, whether it is on social media and on India Today or on Sports Talk, to Vikrant, and some of the questions to him and me on social media have been centering Rohit. So in this broadcast, what are we going to do? Number one, let me break this broadcast of 15 minutes down for you. It's 1 minute on. One, we will give you the latest on Rohit. That's number one. So the latest update on Rohit Sharma as to where he stands today, or from what we know from our sources. That's number one. Number two, we will also tell you why Ishant Sharma did not go. Ishant Sharma, by the way, is fit from the injury that he sustained during the IPL, and what he was sort of back in India for, went to the NCA. So Ishant Sharma today stands fit. I mean, and this has been the case over the last 10 days or so. So if Ishant Sharma is fit, why did he not travel to Australia straight after and join the Indian team? Number three, and this is breaking. This is probably going to be breaking on Sports Today. What is the update on Ravindra Jadeja? From what I understand, Ravindra Jadeja is almost sure to miss the first test. So because of the concussion issue, Ravindra Jadeja is almost sure to miss the first test, can well be in doubt for the second one also. So that will be the third aspect we will touch upon. So 3 points in this broadcast. Number one, Rohit Sharma. Number two, Ishant Sharma. Number three, Ravindra Jadeja. Okay, so number one, Rohit Sharma. Let me give you the good news. If I was in your position and thinking, and if I'm a Rohit Sharma fan, you should be 75% to 80% sure. Maybe 75 will be a good estimate that Rohit Sharma will board the flight on 12th December for Australia. So yes, that's the breaking, that Rohit Sharma, in all likelihood, 75% from my sources, I can tell you, is likely to board the flight for Australia on 12th December. So what are the ways, what are the stumbling blocks for him? At this point in time, Rohit is undergoing rehab at the NCA, and he's undergoing rehab for two things. One, obviously the hamstring injury, which I'm told is much, much, much better. He's definitely on the mend. He's improved quite a bit. And I'm fairly confident that he should be able to clear the fitness test or the reassessment that will happen on the 11th of December. So 11th of December is a major date because that is when the reassessment of Rohit Sharma will happen at the NCA. And if he is able to clear the fitness test on that day, he should be on the flight to Australia on the 12th. If he does hard quarantine, I'll come to that in a bit. If he does hard quarantine, he should be done with it by the 26th. And then 11 days, 10, 11 days, he should be able to practice and play the test match on the 7th of Jan and then the fourth test match in Brisbane also. So this is the current timelines as far as Rohit Sharma's fitness status is concerned. Now, can he clear the fitness test is the only hurdle. That is why I said 75%. If you ask me, the answer is yes. But that 20% you have to give him, because he's not only doing sort of treatment for his or rehab for his hamstring, he's also strength building. If you see over the last couple of years, Rohit has had multiple injuries. Even last year, before the IPL in the New Zealand tour, he got injured and he came back again, the hamstring issue. I met him soon after in Bangalore, end of February earlier this year, when he was recuperating from that issue. So this time round, from what I know, I mean, if you follow Rohit's Instagram, you will also have an idea. But from what I know from NCA, from my BCCI sources, and from other sources, including close to Rohit, Rohit will be much leaner and much fitter when you see Rohit Sharma again in December. I can tell you that he will have shed a few kilos. He will have shed a lot of extra weight. he will be a much leaner, fitter, thinner Rohit Sharma, because the upper body weight on the lower body will be less, which will, according to medical experts, and I have spoken to quite a few yesterday before this broadcast, it will reduce the weight so that Rohit's chance of getting injured will be less. So strength and physical conditioning exercises are also on, and recuperating from that hamstring injury is also on as we speak at the NCA. And chances are that Rohit Sharma will come up triumphs. Fingers crossed, I absolutely want him to come up triumphs. He's extremely important for India in test matches number 3 and 4, because Virat will play the first one. Number 2 will be an issue at Melbourne on Boxing Day. But 3 and 4, if Rohit Sharma gets fit, it will become much, much, much easier. If you see the A game, Shubman and Prithvi have not scored. So with Mayank, the opening slot is still an issue. But as I said, with Virat there, Adelaide, you have your best batsman. Uh, Good for Puji and Ajinkya to be there and score runs. But Rohit Sharma, once he goes to Australia, he will be very, very important in Sydney and in Brisbane in the 3rd and 4th test. So that's the update on Rohit Sharma as on today. So as we speak on the 7th of December today, 4 days before his fitness test, 75% is what I'm giving him to 80% chances of clearing the fitness test from having known what he is going through at this point in time and in terms of rehab. If he clears the fitness test, then he's definitely on that flight to Australia on the 12th. If he's on that flight to Australia on the 12th, he will have completed his quarantine on the 26th, 27th, the hard day quarantine. And there the caveat is Sourav Ganguly is still in talks with Cricket Australia. He's trying to see if Rohit's hard quarantine can be worked upon, because Australia is way, way, way ahead in the battle against COVID. So if he can do multiple tests, and if he can be allowed what the Indian team was allowed, that he can train during his quarantine period, it will advance his chances quite a bit, and get him match ready, fitness ready way earlier. Sourav Ganguly is in talks with Cricket Australia, Nick Hockley and some of the others from Cricket Australia. So that's something that the BCCI is still doing, and the BCCI is very keen. The good thing about Sourav is, being a cricketer himself, he understands this better than anybody and has done his absolute best and will do his absolute best. So that's the Rohit Sharma update that I wanted to give you. So be very confident, be very confident, be very, how do I put it? Be very hopeful, be very confident that your favorite and all our favorite Rohit Sharma should be able to make that Australia tour and should be able to start practicing post Christmas and should be on the park come Sydney in the new year. So 2021, India should have its hitman back on the park. That's my point number 1. And I'm 7.5, 8 minutes into the broadcast. Now coming to point number 2. Coming to point number 2, which is Ishant Sharma. First thing first, Ishant Sharma is now fit. And the BCCI press release some days back corroborated that fact, attested to that fact, that Ishant Sharma was injury free. And Ishant Sharma was fit. He was now ready. So what is the point? If Ishant Sharma was fit about 7-8 days back, why did Ishant Sharma not board the flight to Australia and not go and join the team? Here is what is interesting. From what I understand, the team management wasn't willing to take a risk on Ishant Sharma. That's a very, very important point. The team management wasn't willing to risk Ishant Sharma, because if you see his track record in New Zealand earlier this year, it was a similar injury. He rushed back to New Zealand. He played that test match and broke down again. He picked 5 wickets, but that's about it. And he broke down again. And that created a serious problem for the touring Indian team. The team management's thought process is fairly simple. Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, Navdeep Saini have been with the team in Australia, have been training rigorously, training very hard, putting in the extra yard. They will go with a 100% fit and tested player who they do not think will have any chance of breaking down. And here I have to say this, I think the team management is in very strong ground for taking the call that they have, that in Australia, if an Ishant Sharma flies and is rushed back into the test team and breaks down again, it will become Herculean for India to come back from that position. As a result, if you see Umesh Yadav, Navdeep Saini, Mohammad Siraj are the three red ball bowlers they are keeping an eye on. Umesh probably will get the nod in the first test along with Bumrah and Shami. Will be India's first string bowling attack in that first test match, starting on the 17th of December at the Adelaide Oval, the pink ball test match. Umesh Yadav has done quite a bit to merit a place. It's just that overseas on Indian soil he's been stellar with the ball. Overseas, if he can get his length right, he's got the pace, he's got the guile, he's got the swing. So this can well be his coming of age series. And for Ishant, the team management is very clear. If he's now fit, and from what I understand, BCCI will start domestic cricket in January. So they would want Ishant Sharma to get a few domestic matches under his belt. That's what they feel. If he would have been sent to Australia a week back, he wouldn't be able to play the two tour games. That's the other reason. Had Ishant Sharma been fit a little earlier, and had he been able to go to Australia so that he had completed his 14-day quarantine and played the two tour games, the team management would have had that comfort that he's match ready. However many overs you can bowl at the NCA, however many overs you can bowl in practice, a match situation is fundamentally different. So as far as Ishant Sharma is concerned, had his fitness certificate come a week earlier and had he traveled to Australia then, played the two tour games, the one that is on now and the second one, then the team management would have been in a position to risk Ishant Sharma. That did not happen, as a result of which the team management was apprehensive or jittery and have every reason, I'm telling you this, every reason of being so, that there is no way one can risk a bowler who has not yet shown match fitness. Yes, he is fit, but he has not played a competitive cricket game since going out with injury. That's why, with the New Zealand experience with before them, they are not in a position to risk Ishant Sharma for the Australia series. That is why, and conclusively, I can tell you this, despite being fit, Ishant Sharma was not sent to Australia because with the 14-day quarantine, it would have meant that Ishant would not be in a position to prove his match fitness to the team management. As a result, they have waited on Ishant Sharma. They would want him to get domestic cricket and match practice under his belt. Once he does that and gets that, he will be ready in time for the England tour of India, which is slotted for end of Jan, February, March. And Ishant will definitely play his 100th test match. He will be ready for the England tour of India. That's another massive tour, 4 test matches, multiple white ball games, and a massive tour. So England comes to India in Feb. Then India again plays test match cricket against England in July, August. Lord's test match in August, September rather. That's where. So February is when you will expect to see Ishant Sharma back in India colors, white colors, donning the flannels when he has proved his match fitness in domestic cricket. The third and final point of this broadcast, and as I said, I'm 13 minutes into it. In the last 2 minutes, I will give you an update on Ravindra Jadeja. From what I understand, Jaddu, wish you a very happy belated birthday. I wished you yesterday. You've been absolutely stellar for India in this series. Your batting has come of age. Your fielding has always been gun. We would want you to be back on the park as soon as possible. But based on what happened, the hamstring injury and the concussion, I think Ravindra Jadeja is, from what I understand from sources, Ravindra Jadeja is well and truly out of the first test in Adelaide. So India will not have the services of Ravindra Jadeja in the first test match at Adelaide. Maybe for the second test match, he will have reasons to believe that he can get fit. But for the first test, at least, I don't think India will have the services of Ravindra Jadeja. If that is the case, then we now know that what the bowling combination might look like. Jaddu will need to get fit. And as I keep saying, Jaddu overseas is an absolute asset for India. We have all seen what he can do. But based on the concussion issue and the hamstring issue, is it a grade 1 injury or so? We'll have to find out a little bit more. But Ravindra Jadeja is not going to be ready for Adelaide. So that means your bowling attack will be Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, probably Umesh Yadav, not probably, very chances, likely Umesh Yadav, Ravichandran Ashwin. Ravichandran Ashwin has bowled extremely well in the tour game. These are the 4 specialist bowlers that India will go with, along with Hanuma Bihari to do the job for the 5th bowler. And then your batting unit is fairly sure for the first test with Virat there. So 3 is Puji, 4 is Virat, 5 is Ajinkya Rahane, and 6 is Hanuma Vihari. So 3, 4, 5, 6 is very clear. The first two spots, I absolutely see Mayank Agarwal, and that other opening slot can go to Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill. Neither have scored. KL Rahul is also a distant possibility. So this is how it is all shaping up. I'm at the end of my broadcast. So I've given you all of the updates. Rohit Sharma, Ishant Sharma, and Ravindra Jadeja. I hope it has helped you clear some of your doubts. We will keep coming back on Sports Today with further updates in time. But for the moment, excuse me. Thank you very much for watching. Keep supporting Sports Today. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so that you get the notifications. And also, let me tell you, tomorrow's the game. So tomorrow we will have our pre-match and post-match. Day after, I have asked my friend Akash Chopra to join in. So yes, please mark your calendars. Akash Chopra on what it takes to open the batting in Australia. Opening the batting, he blunted the ball. He might not have scored big, but he blunted the opening overs in 2003-4, setting up that series. So day after on Sports Today, Akash Chopra with me on opening the batting in Australia. For the moment, thank you very much for watching.